Hello, my name is Protik Mukhopadhyay. I'm an entrepreneur and an author. I'll be hosting the Reimagine Sales Systems podcast, where I'll be bringing some of the industry thought leaders who will be sharing their go-to-market strategies for their business systems.
So, welcome everyone. We have today with me my friend and also a customer, Yogesh from Mobile Iron. And I would love to talk with Yogesh about his journey and how his company and in general the trends he's seeing. But let me start by giving Yogesh an opportunity to introduce himself and talk about what he does. Yogesh, if you want to share a little bit with the folks listening in about your background and where you are, it will be really helpful. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for having me, Protik. Very nice to talk to you again. As far as my background goes, like you said, I've been working in Mobile Iron as Director of Enterprise Applications. I started in Mobile Iron in 2015 and having a good run so far, really enjoying working and with my colleagues, with everybody in the company, really a good company to work in. As far as my background, yeah, it's been looks a long time back, but everything can go in a flash. At the same time, it doesn't look that far back, but yes, 20 plus years. Had an amazing and interesting journey so far. Started when I started working, I started with the client server applications. So I started building utilities for extending these applications and including their functionality. I got a chance to work in CRMs and ERPs of the world, and that's when I got introduced to the business operations side, and really liked learning about that aspect of the business. How does finance work? How does sales work? Marketing work? How do they work together? How does customer success work? So I go to work and learn with really good people in all these operations group. So that's how I got introduced to the business side of the world, and ever since I've been just sticking to it and trying my best and doing my best to make these groups work efficiently, productively, with IT help, and work with each other, have a synergy and coherence that the business demands. That's what I've been doing for the last 20 plus years. Have seen how the
Mm-hmm.
technology has changed over time,
Mm-hmm.
from client server to server side technology, from server side to now SaaS applications, and from SaaS now to wearable technology. Um, Quite amazing to see how the spectrum has changed.
Thank you. That was really insightful, Yogesh. You mentioned a little bit about your transition and the interest around business applications and operations. Uh, uh, as a key takeaway, can you share a little bit about your company's go-to-market strategy and how it might translate into the systems and the solutions that you and your team are laying out for them?
Sure. Mobile Iron, like you know, is is a passwordless company, zero password company. We're a mobile security company. We provide end-to-end security for your devices, for your laptops, and all your work gadgets and what have you. And especially right now, with every company having to work remotely, I think Mobile Iron definitely is in a good place and well positioned to secure your devices and your applications and your all your endpoints. So to do that, it is very important to have a good go-to-market strategy, and that's what we are trying. We in IT are trying to execute based on what our business organizations demand. At the same time, we are a channel company, so we have to enable our partners to be able to sell mobile iron in this new world, right? This is as bad as it is. It provides opportunity for companies like Mobile Iron. So a go-to-market strategy around our partners, making them self-enabled, disseminating the collateral to them, making it available to them is extremely important. The industry type to go in for target, the market segment to target, that is important to establish. So once we have done that, having promotions and targeted material around those markets becomes important, and that's where we come in, try to implement those promotions and try to gauge the success of those promotions, etc. That's where the focus is right now.
Very interesting, very interesting. We always hear about business systems, and sometimes you have CRM systems, CPQ billing systems. Can you talk a little bit about not really the product vendor, but more like the actual systems that you have in place to sort of marry that to the vision you laid out, right?
Sure.
It will be good for everyone to get some perspective about the stack and how it is all laid out. Thank you.
Of course. Definitely in terms of systems, like we have all different groups, right? We have sales and marketing and finance and customer success. They group, while they have a lot of procedures that they are vested 100% in, there are processes and procedures where they are cross-functional. For example, code to cash is one of those, right? So it's a cross-functional process, and it impacts every department, starting from marketing, where marketing is generating leads, to cash, where we are billing the customer and recognizing the revenue, right? So we have tools and technologies in place at different points of these different functions. Definitely, we have a CRM in place. We have an ERP in place. And then we have technologies that will enable automation. For example, for marketing, we have technologies, whether it's demand generation, web to lead, or it's account-based marketing, right? It's prospecting, data enrichment services. So we have those in place to get really good quality leads and enrich them and qualify, categorize them, to generate good leads out of thousands of leads, because you can't really go after all the leads that are in your system. You really have to target. So we have tools and technologies for that. We have tools and technologies to manage our leads better. How do we route those leads to right people? How do we contact those leads or contacts? How we reach out to them, at what frequency we should reach out to them. We have sent one email, when should we be sending the other email? So we have tools and technologies to help with that aspect. And then once we start with the opportunities, then how do we measure ourselves? We need tools for forecasting and pipeline management. We need tools for opportunity sales cycle management. So we have vested efforts in that. And then as part of the enablement, we have enablement tool, not only for our sales, but also for our partners, so that they get the information in hand and use the information when they are out there in front of customers. And at the back office side, of course, like I said, we have ERP, and we have integrations between our CRM and ERP system, so that as opportunities, etc., as customers are brought in, opportunities are closed, billing is done, the information is passed along to our ERP system for revenue recognition purposes. So that's kind of
Got it. No, this has been really detailed. Now, we also are in the business of project delivery, right? And every project is unique, every situation is unique. But
can you share a little bit about maybe some recent challenges that you faced in 2020, either in the execution of the project or the planning of, if that, around the systems you mentioned?
Um, Challenges, I mean, challenges are always there, and we have to learn from them and try to be creative to address those challenges when we find somewhere limited in technologies or resources or tools, right? In terms of project management, one challenge is constant is communication. I would always encourage people to do over communication than under communication. What happens is uh, it's very easy to lose focus on the communication. Everyone becomes so focused on their immediate deliverable, whether it's the developer or the QA person, or whether it's the project manager, because it's very easy to burn all your effort on one single task if you are stuck there and lose sight of other 20 tasks that are going on. So having an ability to keep yourself a little away from your immediate delivery, immediate task, and be cognizant of, okay, what is the context you are working in, what are the deliverables out there, who needs to know at what point. Communication is key for every project, whether it's a good news or a bad news. Communication is very important. Timely communication is very important. A bad news can actually become a good news, because the more you communicate, the more ideas can come to help you out. It is never one person's problem to solve. So that is a constant challenge. Keeping team not only focused on their deliverables, but keeping team focused on, hey, you need to communicate. Don't work on silo. Whether it's a developer or a QA or a project manager, everybody can make their silos, and forget that they have help available in terms of their immediate peers who are working in the project with them, or people who are extended team members. They always have help. I think that is a constant challenge in any project. Communication, just we lose sight of timely communication. That is something we should always be careful about. That's what I can say about project management. In terms of applications and tools, there are always challenges, because business is ever evolving. You will always come across situations where the tool is not adequate enough to meet your demands. There are always those scenarios when you're dealing with business. So the best thing to do in that case is to come up with a compromise, a win-win, where you don't win 100%. You, meaning IT, doesn't win 100% in terms of keeping functionality out of the box, and at the same time, business doesn't get 100% in terms of full automation, because it may, number one, may become pointless because it just becomes too expensive, or it may be something which is used for a small amount of time, for a short amount of time, and then the effort may not get used again, so it becomes a wasted effort. So having a compromise formula is very important in every scenario. Never start with a no. Always start with, okay, how we can do this, right? There are always going to be different flavors of the solution. Full automation, always everybody will like it, but at some point you just go to measure, okay, how much system can do versus how much we can do as operations. So that's what I will advise on.
Thank you, Yogesh. It's a good segue now. So we have a lot of folks who are starting their career in IT. They might have 3 to 5 years of experience,
Yeah.
maybe programmers or business analysts. Yeah, what do you suggest they should be doing so that as they uh, move ahead in their career, they can also take broader responsibilities and eventually become a director like you?
Oh, okay. Don't be like me, be better than me. What I will say, I mean, my background has been IT, right? So, and I started 20 years back as a programmer in IT. Like I said, I love doing coding. Um, writing in Visual Basic and Java and C, C++. I miss those days. But yes, you have to evolve, you have to grow, your career needs to grow, and you have to have that constant feed, hunger for growth. What I will suggest is, yes, you have to excel in the work that you do. If you are a programmer, you should excel in that. If you are an IT manager, you should excel in that. If you are a service desk person, you should excel in that. But at the same time, increase your horizon. And one big advantage of working in IT is you get to learn about so many systems and processes that a non-IT person may not get to. Because look at it, just from applications point of view, every organization in the company uses the applications that IT will manage. Some applications, yes, organizations may have of their own, but largely you will have all the applications managed by IT and used by business. And if those applications are managed by IT, you have people who know those processes, who know those cross-functional processes and procedures that business organizations need and work with to become successful. So that's what I will suggest. Increase your horizon, learn about what other people in your group are doing. If you are responsible for, let's say, technical support, learn about sales. How does sales work? If you are responsible for sales operations, sales related business functions, then learn about how customer success works. So become a generalist. That way you can tie dots together, tie things together, and become a good analyst. And again, what you want to become needs to be very clear. Some people like to become managers, some people like to become analysts, and then there is a growth path for those people, right? You don't have to become a manager. You can continue to be an individual contributor, but you can go up the ladder in that category itself. So find the area that you feel more comfortable in, and just strive in that area. Some people don't like to manage other people, and that is perfectly fine. But that doesn't mean that everybody in IT becomes a manager. You could be anybody that you want. There are career growth paths in every stream. A manager has a career growth path, and an individual contributor has a career growth path. So just figure out what you want to be: an enterprise architect, a principal analyst, a manager, and then there are career growth path for people like you.
Great. Thank you, Yogesh. Final question. This is around technology stacks. So we hear a lot about AI, RPA, and there's so many other innovations going on. Some of them is mainstream, some of them in the fringes. But what are some of the technologies that you are excited about, and which you feel you could potentially bring inside the fold of your business solutions?
So there are two things we are very actively focusing on. One is automation, and the other one is analytics. Mm-hmm. Both are important. We want to know how our business is doing, right? And what are the opportunities out there? And analytics is very important in that. So we are investing efforts in that area, where we are building new KPIs and bringing new insight for our management to learn about how as a business we are doing, whether the products we are selling or where we are not selling, or whether the products we are selling and customers are being successful or not being successful. That is important. So analytics is something we are focusing on. And the second part, automation. RPA is very interested in that right now. If anytime we can give back to our business partners, they can use that time to do better things and more things, right? So they could be efficient as well as productive. So taking some of the mundane tasks activities away from them, and doing automation around that is very important for us. So these are the two areas, automation and analytics, that we focus on now.
With that, I would like to thank Yogesh for his time, and really appreciate Yogesh for sharing your insights. I'm sure a lot of the listeners today got a lot of feedback, and good luck to you in your endeavors, and really looking forward and collaborating in future. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, Protik. Thank you for having me, and best of luck to you as well.
So, with that, I would like to wrap up this podcast. Thank you all for tuning into Reimagine Enterprise Sales Systems. To listen to more exciting podcasts, please visit my website, protikm.com or protikm.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcast, and other channels that you follow, so that you'll never miss your show.